everybody? This is Matt.
Welcome back. I'm Jimmy.
And we are two average guys coming at you here on Monday evening. Hopefully we get a decent amount of people to join us today. Sorry for the rescheduling.
My bad.
A little bit of a conflict yesterday, so no big deal. We'll get it done tonight. Just wanted to kind of, I guess end the season. You know, we're a few days after the loss to Iowa, so not really wanting to spend too much time on that. We lost, and so, like I said, to kind of hammer home the loss is not really. I think we've had a few days to be upset about it, and I don't think there's really any point in hammering home too much. So, but let's talk a little bit about it. So, Jimmy, what were your overall thoughts of that game?
I was pretty frustrated that we lost, as anybody would be. I was pretty proud that we were able to come back and tie that game. You know, as a fan of college football, if you're just watching a game and that you had no dog in the fight, watching that game, especially in the second half, pretty fun. It was a pretty fun game. Down to the last play, I said to Jason Huntington, down to the last play of the game, how do you not, how fun is that? Like, how do you not want that? And, we want to blow everybody out, but a game like that's always fun to play in, especially coming back, scoring a touchdown late, getting the 2-point conversion the way that we did. Yep. Adrian scrambling a little bit, kind of throwing. That was awesome. So, you can take good things away from it. A team that showed a lot of heart and a lot of fight to get back into some of these games. Yeah. Maybe we lost a few of these close ones. We did lose. We lost quite a few close ones this year.
And really, we lost close ones that we, technically, in my mind, we should have won. I think we,
for sure,
including this game, I think we should have won. We gave them a 4th and 8.
Exactly.
I'm like, man, they're gonna fake it. I don't think they're actually gonna go for it.
I thought once,
and then I saw our covers look pretty soft too.
Yeah. I thought they were gonna punt it after they went and tried to draw us off sides and took a timeout, but. They made the plays when they needed to. That won the game. Yep. They had a senior kicker that made a field goal to win the game. Yep. I thought that the offense didn't play very well in the first half. I was kind of a boring team to play against, to watch. They go for 4 yards every play. Yep. And when they consistently do it, it sucks. And then they have a 6-7 minute drive that leads to a touchdown, and it's kind of demoralizing.
Yeah, and that's what I think killed us too, is they managed the clock and managed their drives very well going downfield, and that's what you expect from Iowa. Like they're very methodical when they move the ball downfield, and we didn't have an answer, so they kept doing what worked for them. And honestly, they probably could have ran the ball more. I think they could have ran the ball a lot more, and probably put up more points on us. Once they got 28, I'm like, man, they're going to score, make it 35. I can't remember, like I said, it's been a few days. We got a turnover, we got a 4th down stop, or what happened, but we ended up getting the ball back, and that stop on, I think it might have been a 4th down, but either way, the stop that we had to get the ball back, and they didn't get those 35 points. That was kind of something that turned the page for us to where we were able to get some life back in the team a little bit. But like you said, that first half was both sides of the ball. We just looked like we weren't there yet.
It was kind of the story of the season where, we eventually figured it out, but it was too late. Mm-hmm. We started the game, maybe we start great, like you've said before, first, second drive, we're really good, and then it's like we drop off, we don't really know. Yeah. It's like we did that, struggle into the third quarter, and finally figure it out.
It's just too late.
Fight real hard down to the end, but come up short.
Yeah, so you talk about a team playing a complete 60 minutes in a complete game, and that's a lot of these games that we lost that were close were because we didn't play a complete game. Yep. Either we got worn down and we weren't competing in the fourth quarter, or we struggled in one quarter or an entire half.
Or made a few mistakes here and there. You give up a punt return touchdown to Troy, ends up being the difference in the game.
Yeah, so there are a lot of things that you can point at this game, but really, I think Frost said it best, and I don't know anyone that could disagree with this. We were beat on the line, on offensive, defensive line. They were bigger, stronger, and faster on the line. They were able not only to get our line pushed back on their offensive line, but they pushed to the second level, and we were able to get some of our linebackers too. And that's where That's what Frost said. He never thought he'd see that with the Nebraska team in general, not just against Iowa, but in general, getting beat at the offensive or defensive line. And that's one thing he said that we can fix. And that's exactly what they're going to have their work cut out for them.
And something that is kind of encouraging is, you see it. We were getting beat on the offensive and defensive line, and yet we're still in the game. We still had a tie game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I'm not even saying our offensive line wasn't terrible.
No, they were.
But I think our defensive line was probably the worst thing to see in that game, just because they were able to run successfully on us. When we got no pressure on Stanley. You saw when we did get pressure on Stanley, what do you do? Incomplete pass. Yeah. He's not someone who's going to scramble out of the pocket and run. He's not a quarterback who's going to scramble out of the pocket and throw a strike. He's just not. He makes me think of Wisconsin quarterback Hornibrook. He's not a guy that's going to beat you with his feet, and we let him stay in the pocket and beat us with his arm. And then their rush game. I mean, their line was able to open holes against our defensive line and get us up. Their tight ends were getting to the second level, getting our linebackers. And our linebackers weren't able to get off the blocks, or we were missing gaps. And that's kind of to me, that was kind of a story this year. Not only, like McKenna said, consistently playing from behind, and playing from behind early, but our inability to hit the correct gap. Once again, I think a lot of people talk talent, and I think that is maybe not the right thing to look at as the talent. I think we have very talented guys, but it is their ability to hit the right hole, make the right choices. That has nothing to do with their talent. That has to do with their head and where they're looking and their vision. And that's one thing that is hard to coach, but it's something our guys need to work on, is that vision. And you can watch film to learn some of those holes.
And you can see when they show replays after, they gash one for a 10, 15, 20-yard run, you can see where a linebacker maybe made a mistake going to the wrong, chose right instead of left, or got there late, or whatever it might be, or couldn't get off a block. But you can see it, and it's something that does probably need to be addressed, does need to be fixed.
Yep.
Up with that front seven so that they can't get these. And I was listening to something today. Say it almost is worse to watch a team just go and get 4 yards on you every play. They know they're going to get it, rather than you play Wisconsin, and Wisconsin's kind of similar, but you play a team that gashes you for a long 30, 40, 50-yard run, but they don't do that. They're not getting just 4 yards every play, and then eventually they'll end up getting a 10 to 15.
Iowa had 2 rushes the entire year over 30 yards. First game of the season for them, I can't remember which running back ran for like 45-yard rush. Against Nebraska, there was a 32-yard rush. The only 2 times they ran for over 30 yards all year. So like you talk about, they are methodically moving up the field and inching their way to the goal line. And that's that first drive. I mean, I'm watching, I'm like, oh my God, can we stop them on third down? Can we just stop them? Because they know if we can get 4 yards of play, we're going to get a first down on third down. And that's what they did to us. And it was... Yeah,
that was their game plan, and it worked.
And that's not the Nebraska offense, but...
And I think we did kind of start to stop them a little bit. Mm-hmm. I mean, obviously we did, because they only scored 4 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But
they had 28 points in the first half.
Yeah.
So I mean, we stepped up in the second half
to stop them. So
we're trying to find positives, people.
Yeah.
But I think I thought we could have ran the ball more. I think Zigbo had 3 or 4 rushes in the first half. Yeah. And to me, for a coach who says, I was surprised we only ran him 11 times in the game for our previous game, and then or not before Michigan State, and then he said, then we only run him 3 times in that Iowa game in the first half. I'm like, man, where is, I just don't know where that vision and where the awareness is. Because I thought we still could have ran the ball. We were running for 4 or 5 yards on the rushes, and I think we could have ran more.
I think didn't we go 3 and out? We went 3 and out a couple times. Well, no, I know we came and went 3 and out 2 or 3 times to start the third quarter, which is never what you want to do. But I mean, I guess the game plan. They know better than we do. They watch film. Maybe they didn't think the offensive line could quite hold up with their defensive line, so they wanted to spread the ball around a little bit more. But I thought we needed to try some more downfield shots. I mean, we threw a lot of horizontal, which I know that's kind of the offense.
And for quite a while, it was working. I mean, we had a lot of those plays.
Yeah, and it was working too. It does work. If you get guys that can block out there, which we have some guys that can. We got the crazy.
But yeah, I mean, really, and so McKenna's asking about where were our in-game adjustments, on D. Well, really, the story this year is we haven't been able to make those adjustments on defense.
Right.
And you see the same things over and over again working for the other team's offense, where it's like, hey, are we going to stop them? We're going to make an adjustment. Are we going to stop them on the run? But once again, I think what hurt us in that game is whether or not we tried to make adjustments is besides the fact that we were just getting beat on the line, and our defensive guys were getting beat. They were getting pancaked. They were getting pushed. They were getting shoved to the second level, and that just allowed them, when you're getting pushed back, you're already getting 2-3 yards on the run as soon as you're getting pushed back on the defensive line.
Yeah, and there was a couple times we brought the house, and it worked. Yeah. And I know you can't do that all the time, but a couple of third downs maybe that, towards the end where we were actually stopping them, that we were able to get the ball back. So that was nice to see. Hopefully we can, like you said, get something changed to where these guys aren't getting pushed off like that, and they can get 4 more yards carried.
Yeah, so, I mean, really, overall assessment of the year, you look at the 0-6 start, obviously no one's happy about that. That was a very poor start. We go 4-2 to end the season, so we ended with a 4-8, same record as last year. Biggest thing that we saw was just the change, though, the mentality, the way our guys fought. They didn't give up in games. We didn't give up 50, 60 plus to Ohio State like we have the past however many years we played them. We didn't get demolished. Yes, Michigan killed us, but I think if we would have played Michigan closer to the end of the season, I think it would have been a change. I think we would have been better. We still would have given up some points, but I don't think we would have lost 56-6. It took our offense a long time to get going, to get the season going, and we really made a change on penalties per game. I think the first 6 games, we had no less than 9 penalties in those games. The last 6 games, we never had more than like 5, maybe 6 in one game. But, I mean, you talk about a change in mentality, that mental game to decrease your penalties, decrease turnovers. I mean, that was a big change in our last 6 games. So if you want to point out something positive, yes, the record is not. But our last 6 games, difference in turnovers, but better offense, less turnovers, less penalties on both offensive and defensive side.
And special teams were better. We didn't give up any long punt returns or any punt return touchdowns. Or even block punts or anything crazy. So McKenna talks about the Ohio State Michigan game. Yeah, I mean, if you watch that game, how did Michigan get beat? Crossing routes. And we've been talking about this for the last 3-4 years. Is Nebraska does not do those quick cross routes in the middle of the field. We haven't done it ever. Like, I don't remember the last time we had a receiver run a 5-6 yard route going upfield, not straight across, but upfield, and catching the ball on a route. I mean, that's yardage. That's how Ohio State killed Michigan. That's what beat them. Because is Michigan State a bad team? Absolutely not. But did Ohio State expose their defense? Absolutely. They watched film. They know what was going to beat them, and they did it, and they did it a lot. And they had no answer. And it was kind of funny. I know we're still talking about Nebraska, but Michigan didn't really have an answer. They were still trying to run the ball, and they were getting their butts kicked. And it was like they were running the ball for 2 yards to carry every time. And it was like, that's not going to work.
Yeah, and so that's something that we don't. I think we need to do more crossing routes. I would love to see our tight ends more involved, and we've talked about that before too. We've seen that pass up the middle to Jack Stoll and our tight ends work really well, but we don't do that consistently. And if you watched how that beat Michigan State, we did it once, and then we never did it again. I thought we could have done it more.
Well, and
I thought we were going to do it in Iowa.
I did hear an interesting conversation today that said, if they can, maybe, Stoll isn't either where they want him to be, or maybe just the whole offense as a whole isn't necessarily where they want him to be. So, if they can get Stoll to where they want him, or if we are able to use tight ends more next year, or how they want to, does he become that second receiver, basically the second option behind Spielman next year? Yeah. Is he the second best receiver that we have? Or is the second best receiver we have not on the roster yet? I thought that was pretty good.
We'll talk about that in a second.
And I know that some of them, you've got on there.
Well, we'll talk about it in a second, because that is exactly, yes, Jack Stoll, for the limited amount of catches he had this year, he's fantastic. And I'm looking forward to seeing more of Stoll this next year, because I think we can utilize, and that was a big discussion in the offseason coming into the 2018 season is, we have these tight ends that we want to utilize. So you talk about, is it Stoll? I don't even know if it's just him. I think it might just be the offensive progression of getting the new system.
And I know I've said it before. It could be the offensive line isn't there, and they need tight ends in there to block.
Yep.
So we haven't been able to use them as much. That's my take on it.
That could be, but yeah, I mean, when you look at how do we implement the tight end into the game, you look at, I brought it up before, and I'm wearing my Cowboys shirt, but the way Jason Witten was used. I mean, wasn't short down his plays. You got 5-6 yards to go. Guess what? We're getting Jason Witten wide. He's gonna push off his block. He's gonna come around middle of the field. Boom, he's wide open. And that's how the Cowboys were so successful. That's how he made a living. Was in the middle of the field, 5-6 yards downfield. And that's fantastic. That's what we can do. But we have to get that offensive line there. We have to get the rest of our team and that new system in place 100% to where we can run that play. And you got to get Martinez on level with that too. Those short yardage plays, you got to be able to hit him in the chest, and you got to be able to hit him in coverage because our tight ends are going to be covered. They're not going to be open all the time. So that's a big part of that too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, anybody comment?
Just McKenna.
Okay.
Yeah, teams who tackle well, cover frost horizontal pass as well. Yeah, I mean, I think we can do it a lot more, and I think we can get our tight ends in coverage. So once again, 4-8. So we didn't see improvement on record, but we saw a change in mindset. We can see definitely. That it's been talked. I think it's been hammered in enough, but that change in culture in the locker room. They're bringing back a lot of what Frost did when he was there. And one thing I kind of had to laugh at, I read one of the articles that we posted here on Cornhusker Nation was you have. They had Noah Fant talking about how Antonio Reed was talking a lot of crap and he just doesn't play that game. And I was watching the game and you could see heads moving. You could see the guys talking to each other. You can't. And I know they paint Iowa to be the poster child of the Big Ten. They're good boys. They don't talk crap. I don't believe that whatsoever. They're college kids. Right. There's no way once someone gets into your head and you're trying to talk back and forth. Nebraska had the pregame, kind of getting in the way of some of the Iowa players. Brian Ferentz was pissed. Him and Scott Frost, I guess, exchanged some words. But I believe that was such a terrible article by 24/7 Sports, and I think it was probably 24/7 Sports Iowa. On Nebraska talked a lot of crap, but that's not how we play. And people think Frost encourages that kind of talk, but I don't know if Frost encourages the bad boy look, but you got to have an edge, man. You got to play with an edge.
Oh, for sure.
And I don't mind some of that as long as you're not crossing the line, getting penalties for it. And
for sure.
And you saw, and Fant said that he wasn't throwing punches back at Reed, but I mean they were both going at it. That when they both got penalized, you saw him. He's like, I was just trying to stop him from throwing punches. No, you guys were both hand checking. You were both pushing each other. It is what it is. Don't try to paint yourself as the poster child of we're good boys and we're Iowa boys. We're nice and
you're a Nebraska trash. Boy anyway, Fant.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't talk trash, I mean, that's not really football. You guys, I like that kind of edge for our defenders especially. But guess what? Iowa won the game.
Yeah.
Enjoy it now because next year we're bringing the pain, and we're going to hopefully improve a lot and improve on strength and conditioning to where next year we end that streak of Iowa beating us 4 years in a row. And it's a lot of smack talking back and forth, and a lot of it's in good fun. But I really hope we bury him in the dirt next year.
Yeah. Sure. One last thing I would say about the game.
Yeah.
Something that I've been hoping for all season was for Stanley Morgan to get to 1,000 yards. And he got to 1,004. Yes. He barely got there.
He got there. So he not only holds the reception.
Yeah, he broke the reception record.
He
got 1,000. First ever Husker to get 1,000. He was all teary-eyed on the sidelines or on the field after the game.
Yeah, that's the guy you're going to see on Sundays.
Man, I love that guy. I wish we had him for another year.
Yeah, talk about our seniors. Hell of a showing. I mean, I know not all the seniors played fantastic. Not all of them were starting every game, but I think that leadership from the seniors really changed the mentality of this team this year, and I think that's going to carry over into next year for them. These guys are going to take that captainship next year. Excuse me. Woo. All right. Let's talk about 2019. So we've talked about the games. We've talked about what our chances of getting to the Big Ten championship next year, and I think they're pretty darn good. As a Husker fan, for as long as it's happened over the last 20 years, you always have one game where like, man, there's no way we should lose that, but we do.
Yeah, that's true.
So I mean that's one thing as well. But let's see. So are you going to touch up on the discussion on your page lately? So who's the offensive decent MVP? Why overall great? Yeah, we'll touch on that, Dalton. Yeah, you are late to the party, jerk. We'll talk about that here in a second. So 2018. So Dalton, mentioned. Are we going to touch up on the MVP offensive?
I was going to say something because
really the offensive MVP. We saw a lot of people talking about Martinez, but I saw more and more people talking about Zigbo and Stanley Morgan as kind of that co-MVP.
I don't know if you saw what I posted.
I didn't.
Oh, I did put a comment in there. I said Stanley Morgan for his leadership and skill.
Mm-hmm.
Divine Zigbo for his heart and determination. Adrian Martinez for a talent that we've probably never even seen at Nebraska.
No.
I said it's a tough call, but I will give the edge to Stanley Morgan and Divine Zigbo.
Yeah.
I said I'll give it to the seniors.
This guy's getting all poetic on us. Man.
No, just with adversity that Divine Zigbo has gone through.
Yeah.
And I said because they've gone through multiple coaching staffs, you give it to them.
Yeah.
Just somebody that is number 3 on the depth chart.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well,
going into the season.
Yeah, and I think you talk about
Trey Bryan in there. He's 4th on the depth chart.
I think you talk about all the seniors really as MVP, in my opinion. Yeah, of course you can give it to the guys that were out there every play, but the guys that stuck around for 4 years and went through 3 different coaches. Talk about the guys that some of them if they were redshirt and they went through 3 different coaches. So you got to think about those guys. I mean, that's hard to do, but they played because they loved putting on the crimson and the scarlet and cream. The scarlet and cream, and that's why they stayed. And to me, that's one thing that you can't replace is that heart and that determination. I think that's why this season meant a lot to a lot of these guys. And you saw a lot of the tears is because they went through so much over a short amount of time, and that's huge. I mean, to be able to stick around with the program that way. So I give it to all the seniors, but really we saw, overwhelming Zigbo and Stanley Morgan, and obviously Martinez. But I think you give a shout out to those 2 seniors. Defensively,
Mo Berry's the best player.
Mo Berry was all over the place. Luke Gifford, I think, was probably a close second on the defense.
I would say a most improved, maybe a Lamar Jackson.
I absolutely, but he's not a senior either. He's coming back.
He's not. He's coming back.
But definitely most improved Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. Mo Berry is the MVP. Lamar Jackson probably most improved.
Yeah.
But some of these other guys, just guys that maybe you weren't expecting.
Yeah.
Maybe either you won't expect them to see them or to be as good. DiCaprio Boodle, he's great.
Yeah.
He's going to be awesome.
He'll be back. Yeah.
Antonio Reed was a hard hitter. You can go down the line, but
but really, I think you got to give it to Mo Berry on the defense, captain of the defense. Yeah. Luke Gifford right behind him. Those guys were leading tacklers on the team. Definitely most improved Lamar Jackson, pass breakups. He was somebody who stood out on our defensive back core with those pass breakups and with the coverage. He started off kind of rough. He got benched. He came back with a vengeance and was like, screw you guys, I'm wearing my black shirt, and I'm going to come out here. And I got to put Trey Neal up there, too. I thought Trey Neal, he's one of those guys that he kind of struggled a little bit to get used to playing at Nebraska. And same scheme he was used to, but I think he struggled to get a little bit just in the fit. But once he did, he's a guy that's going to bust in there and try to take the ball.
And he was,
force turnovers.
Leadership-wise, I think he stepped up on the defensive side there for sure.
Absolutely. And then as far as grades, I saw a lot of arguments. I saw a lot of discussion on the grades. Some people said A, which I think is, that's kind of the optimist side of people and the people that say, hey, we did okay for the first year. But I saw a lot of D's, I saw a lot of C's and a lot of F's. And I'd say if you're going to give us an overall grade, I don't think you can give us really anything better than a D. Maybe a D+, C-, just because of the way we started the season. First half of the season, F. If there's a grade lower than that, let's give it to them. But after the second half of the season, I'd probably say you probably give us a B. So if you're going to average that out, you're at a C- or so.
Yeah, something like that.
But I saw a lot of people kind of arguing, and it just kind of cracks me up. Everyone's got their own opinion.
The tough thing about it is, you saw a lot of flashes of greatness on offensive side of the ball, with especially Martinez early on. And so that was very positive to see. But on the flip side, the defense was bad with the penalties, with the special teams.
Yeah.
So I would say, if you break it down into categories, For me, I would say the offense is maybe like a B minus.
Yeah.
C plus, B minus, because they did stall out quite a bit. Special teams earned their way from an F to probably like a D plus, C minus.
Yeah.
Defense was anywhere from a D to a C.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Victor asked, given the schedule given the schedule next year should be a 10-win season, into your bust. I don't know if it's into your bust. I don't know if I agree with that, but I will say our schedule is definitely set up for us to win the West next year.
Oh, yeah.
And with the improvements we can make, plus we'll talk about in a second all the guys we got coming in on the recruiting side in 2019, plus all the returners that we have that are only going to get better. I couldn't agree more.
Plus guys that we haven't gotten yet.
Yeah.
Guys that they're out trying to get right now for the next, over the next month before the early signing period.
No, absolutely.
And beyond.
Yeah.
I know they probably want to try to get as many as they can before, but there are kind of some diamonds in the rough that get left over that they're going to want to maybe try to sign, in January or February, whatever that is. So.
Absolutely. McKenna, you asked about prospects for our seniors. We'll talk about it here in just a second. I wrote it down there. Let's answer Rusty's question here. Dalton mentioned 26th in the country for total offense.
Yeah, so
we went from 87th to 26th. That's a huge improvement. We had about 100 yards more per game on average throughout the season. Adrian Martinez, 300-plus yards per game for 7 games. Yeah. First quarterback in Nebraska history to do that.
The team had over 450 yards for 7 straight games.
Yep.
You could. I guess you could give the offense maybe some higher marks. It probably varies from game to game. I'd probably go up and down.
Yeah, and I believe it was Rusty. I think you were asking about Dedrick Mills, if I remember correctly, out of Kansas. Dedrick Mills he's a big kid. He's one of those guys that's going to be able to run through the tackles. Zigbo might be a little bit bigger, but I think he's going to be kind of like an Amani Cross, but faster. Guy that can run through the tackles, break tackles, knock guys over. Zigbo is that way, but I think he gained more speed and still had the strength. But he wasn't as good between the tackles unless he had a hole, in my opinion. But he was our between the tackles runner, and Mo was kind of our outside runner. We are ranked 19th in the country in recruiting right now. Who do we think will have an expanded role next season? Ryan can suck it for now. We'll get back there. We'll talk about expanded roles. So let's look at our returning offense. Then we'll look at let's start pro prospects first. Then we'll look at returning offense, defense, what to look forward to for potential starters next year, and then some of our recruiting as well. Okay. So returning offensive starters, we got Brandon Hymas, left tackle. I think Hymas is how you say it. You got Bo Wilson, you got Matt Farniak, all on the line returning. Farniak improved a lot this year. A lot.
Plus, I don't know why I'm drawing a blank.
Well, those are our starters that are returning.
Okay.
Cameron Jurgens.
Yeah.
So, we'll talk about him potentially. Wide receivers, you got Spielman, Warner, and Williams. I know we didn't get to see a lot of Mike Williams.
Right.
We didn't get to see a lot of Cade Warner. Talked about this
More
before.
Warner than Williams. Williams is a great blocker.
And that's what I was going to say. The things I look for more with Williams and Warner, their block game for Armstrong, I said it so many times, for Stanley Morgan was fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
And even for Spielman, I know he missed a couple games, but when they throw that pass out to them and we have those two guys blocking downfield, and Stanley Morgan was a fantastic blocker as well, which the NFL is going to pick up fast.
Yes.
But we had those guys returning. Jack Stoll is going to be back on the offense. Mo Washington, Adrian Martinez. So those offensive starters, Mo, you can say starter or not, but
yeah, I'd throw him in there.
Look at the guys that left. Pro prospects. Stanley Morgan, absolutely.
Probably.
I'd be shocked if he doesn't get picked up.
He should go in the top 3 rounds.
Divine Zigbo. He's definitely going.
He should get drafted. If not, he will get picked up by somebody. But I hope he gets drafted.
Yeah,
he earned it.
I think they both will. And I think anybody watching him run the ball, I think they're going to see him and say he can make a difference on this team.
And he's not somebody that turns the ball over.
No.
That's a big thing.
No.
I don't know if he turned the ball over.
He might have had a couple fumbles, but
he might have put a couple on the ground that we didn't lose. But
yeah,
we'd have to look into that one. So
yeah, but those guys I think definitely pro prospects on the senior level. I think definitely Morgan's going though. As far as defense returners, you got Ben Stilley, the Davis brothers on the defensive line. You got Tyron Ferguson, who we didn't see a ton this year, but when he was in there, made a difference. You got Mo Berry as our linebacker, which I'm really hoping we move him to the outside for the outside rush. But we'll talk about who else could kind of fill that role as well. Lamar Jackson, DiCaprio Bootle.
Okay. And then I guess Damian Daniels wasn't a starter, but he will be next year.
Yes, he will. And then potential new starters. So this is a list of guys that I picked out that we got to see this year that I think are going to make a big impact on next year and potentially see some expanded roles.
Okay.
Austin Allen.
Yep.
So we've got two tight ends, Austin Allen and Katarian Legrone. We saw both of them play a little bit. I think there's a spark of greatness there. I think they're both going to be really good. Once again, if you're running a 3 tight end set, which we've seen some teams do, or even a 2 tight end set, look for those guys to get open, and those guys get a lot of playing time with Jack Stoll next year.
Okay.
You got David Alston, outside linebacker, has a lot of potential. Christian Banker, wide receiver, was really highly recruited coming in. He was a redshirt freshman this year.
Okay.
Damian Daniels, defensive line. We know he's going to be playing next year. Defensive back, Markel Dismuke. So we got to see
He played last
him,
year.
Yes, and we got to see him play a few times this year. And when he was out there, he made a couple dumb mistakes with penalties, but he's got speed, he's got heart, and the kid can hit hard.
Yeah, I think last year I think he got beat a little bit, and that's why his name kind of stood out. But he was always right there. Yeah. So it was just a matter of kind of getting him developed. So
next 3 guys, linebackers. And actually, I'll throw in 4 linebackers here. Doman, we saw him play this year. We know what he can do. Will Honus, unfortunately, got hurt, but I think he's going to be...
he got to take a red shirt, so we got him for 2 more years.
Yes, I think he's going to be good to go. So, Honus, Doman, Breon Dixon.
Yes.
Someone we haven't seen a lot of.
We thought we were going to see a lot of.
But I think we'll see a lot of them next year.
Hopefully he's figured some things out, yeah.
Yes. And then Caleb Tanner. So, Caleb Tanner is one of those guys we've seen on special teams. We did not get to see him play much.
I was so bummed. I looked it up today to see if we earned his red shirt, and we did.
Yeah, that's okay.
And I'm like, man, he didn't play. He was only on special teams.
But that's okay. I believe that he's one of those guys that's going to make a difference. Along with, I've said it all year, Cam Taylor. I feel like I'm obsessed with the guy.
Yeah.
Between Caleb Tanner and Cam Taylor, you see those guys flying around the field when they're in there. Cam Taylor, defensive back. I think he's going to make a big difference on the defensive side. He can pass break up. He can stay with a lot of receivers in the league. Very excited to see him on the field more often. You got Cameron Jurgens. We talked about him. He is a tight end, but they're talking about him playing center.
Tight end, offensive line, D end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things he can do. So that's a guy I think expanded roles next year, although we didn't see much of him this year at all. Cam Jones, yes, safety Cam Jones.
Cam Jones as well.
I think he'll be out there. Eric Lee, we got to see him when Lamar Jackson was struggling. He did okay, but then he started to kind of falter, and Lamar Jackson earned his roll back.
He had that big tackle in Minnesota.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
We also have Wyatt Mazur, who we got to see sparks this year. I think he's going to be someone who explained. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. He'll be back this next year. He's going to be a senior. Javon McQuitty, wide receiver. There's been a lot of talk about him when we talked to Trevor Munson. He talked about Javon McQuitty, knowing him, and I think he's going to make a big difference in the offense next year as well. Jerron Woodyard, we got to see a little bit of him this year as well. He's a big guy, big kid. And then you got Deontay Williams. He got an interception in one of the games this year. Anyone I'm missing that you're thinking of?
Yes.
Who am I missing?
Running back. He came in for the Bethune-Cookman game, had a swing pass, went down the... it'll come to me unless somebody brings it up.
So that's what we have returning this next year, and I think we have a lot of potential with a lot of talent there. Talk about recruits here in a second. Hold on.
Real quick, okay, I was going to say, who do you have as far as...
Hey, we're in our show. Can I call you back?
Oh, sorry. Yep.
Okay, love you.
Okay.
Bye.
Hi, Caitlin.
Cut you off. Hold on, I gotta restart. I gotta get the podcast going again. Just totally run the show. Sorry, guys. Give me a second.
It's all good.
This might be a 2-part podcast. Hold on.
That's all right.
So
people can bear with us.
Biscuit, you kidding me? Man, I think that might have just killed half the podcast. Sorry, guys. Okay.
So
Well,
you won't be able to like upload that.
Nope. So anyway, sorry guys.
Well,
This
if you want to
podcast-
listen to it, then
you
you're
just
gonna
have to watch the show. All right, so starting back up here on the podcast. Sorry, I had to get it back. That sucked. So we lost half our podcast. So
Anyways, one thing that I was gonna say was, what pro prospects do you see leaving on the defensive side of the ball? Do you see anybody getting taken?
I could see Reed
I
going.
could see Reed going.
He's a hard hitter. He's a guy that goes to the ball. I could definitely see him going.
I mean, you got Diedrich Young. I don't know.
He got invited to like some
Did you guys say to a Senior Bowl or something?
some sort of pro camp or something. I don't know. I don't see him being a guy that makes an impact in the NFL personally.
Well,
I think he's got a lot of work to do.
Unfortunately, Mick was hurt most of the year, so he's probably.
Yeah, I know Stoltenberg. He's
Somebody
been
might
injury
take a
prone.
chance on him, maybe signing him
Yeah, maybe.
after the draft or something. But yeah, I'd say Reed.
Yeah, Antonio Reed might
He's
be
just
our
one of
best.
those hard-hitting safeties
Yeah.
that you saw, like Ricky Thenars or I don't know. There's been a couple guys throughout the years.
Yeah, but I think Reed's probably our best guy on the defense that could make a difference. Miles Jones, that's right. Thanks, Dalton. Miles Jones was the running back.
Miles Jones, thank you, Dalton.
But anyway, so I think there's a lot of guys that are going to make a big impact on the offenses next year. Do I think Foster or Farmer get drafted? I'm gonna be very blunt here. Farmer, I don't think so at all. I don't think he has the talent. I don't think he has the skill.
Well,
He has the heart.
I don't think he's a center.
No.
I mean, they basically told him he was playing center.
Yeah. No, I don't think he was playing the right position. But I also don't know. Like I said, I don't know if he has that skill.
I mean, it is interesting because if you look at it, I mean, there's some Nebraska offensive linemen that are in the league right now. Spencer Long.
Yeah.
Some guys that I wouldn't have necessarily thought
Yeah.
would at least maybe they'd get a shot but wouldn't stick out.
Yeah.
And guys like Jeremiah Searles and stuff like that still are playing. So
Yeah.
maybe somebody will sign them. Maybe they'll earn their way on. I don't know if I see either one of them getting drafted.
No, I don't either. I think they got great leadership potential, but I just don't know if the skill level is there. Good question, Rusty. I don't know. I think they might get a chance to go to a camp, but I don't know if they're going to actually get drafted. Dalton asked earlier about Adrian Martinez and
Bucks could use Mick.
Yeah,
Bucks.
about Adrian's.
And I feel like your Miles Jones would be a great slot receiver.
Yes. Dalton asked about Adrian Martinez's draft potential. I think you saw a lot of freshman mistakes this year. You saw that happen in more than one game, and some of the games late. You saw it against Iowa. You saw it against Michigan State.
Right.
You saw it against a lot of the second half of the season. So, is he draft potential early? I think teams in the NFL are going to have to want to see more and more improvement this next year if he's going to leave us early. Junior year, I'd say that would be probably his possible potential to go early.
Yeah.
Because we talked about, I think that junior year he could potentially be a Heisman finalist or a Heisman winner if he continues to improve and does what he did this year, but it builds on that.
The thing that he still did, even down to the Iowa game, is when he gets under some pressure and he could just roll out and run, he tries to make, and sometimes he even does run a little bit, but he'll end up throwing it. He tries too hard to make a play. Instead of taking what he's given, take the 4-yard gain.
Or throw it away.
Yep. He tries to force it.
Takes a sack.
Or he takes a sack.
Yep.
So...
Yeah, we saw it a few times this year, and that's frustrating to watch because you think, man, just throw the ball away, and he takes a sack. Or
you gotta see him just run 4 yards, take it out of bounds, take it, and it's 2nd and 6 instead of
And there were times where he could have ran when he decided to try to pass it or force something in, and those kind of mistakes. So those are things you can see on video, and you grow as. Once again, he didn't play last year, so this is his first year playing in 2 years.
He was pretty good,
and he still broke a lot of records as a freshman. So I think you got to take that positive and think that I don't think sophomore year, junior year. I don't know. I hope he stays 4 years, but you got to remember we also have McCaffrey coming in, who's a good quarterback. That if he did leave junior year, we do have McCaffrey that can kind of take over that spot. So let's talk a little bit about our recruiting, our 2019 commits. So we got Omaha boys, Chris Hickman and Nick Heinrich coming from Burke. Really big commits there coming in. Better than Jamal Lord. I like Jamal Lord. Then you got Darian Chase coming in. You know, these are guys I think can make an impact right away. Darian Chase and Bryce Benhart, absolutely. I think those guys are going to play right away. Nick and Ronald Tompkins, I think Ronald could potentially play right away as a running back. Once again, I think we're going to be more. We do recruit a lot of running backs, but I think Frost offense, you're going to need that. And you're going to need them to play kind of like Mo Washington did in the swing pass game and the wheel routes and the pass game. And I think we could see more of that from our guys coming in that are running back potential.
Have two of them in the backfield.
Yes, I think we can do that more often. We did it a few times, but we brought Spielman in instead of a second running back. And I think that'll change as we bring in some of these skillful running backs, even though we had Zigbo and Mo. But we got Luke McCaffrey coming in. We got Tompkins coming in. Jackson Hanna out of Tennessee, linebacker. I don't know if he's potential to play right away, but he's someone I think you might see a little bit next year. Maybe early on, and maybe in some of those games where we're maybe winning really big, hopefully. Might see him in the field as well.
Special teams and stuff too.
Ramir Johnson out of New Jersey, I think that's another running back that I think is going to make a big difference. Potential to be kind of a slot receiver, kind of like a lot of guys we see in the NFL, Amendola and those guys that play the slot. Beasley from Cowboys. I mean, those slot receivers that can do those crossing routes, those short routes, those out routes to the sideline. I can see him doing that as well in the running back position. We got Jamie Nance. We know what he can do. I've seen a lot of film on him. The dude is fast. He just flies through people. He's out of Oklahoma. I see Jamie Nance making an impact right away. I do see him being, potentially even fourth wide receiver. I see him being out there quite a bit. The polo is fantastic, Dalton. Sorry, my Cowboys won on Thursday, and they've won what nobody thought they could do, is winning 3 games straight, and they're going to get whooped by the Saints next week. I'm aware. Dedrick Mills, once again, we talked about him. Dedrick Mills, talk about a guy. Watch some film on him, guys. He's one of those guys who's going to come in and make an immediate impact. I think he could potentially be our number 2 running back next year. I think him and Tompkins, I think they're going to have a kind of a fight for that position. I see Ramir Johnson maybe being put at a different position.
Man, there's a lot of guys that are going to have a hard time finding the field unless they...
you're going to see a lot of red shirts out of guys that have a lot of...
And that's not a bad thing.
No.
That is a good thing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of them are going to learn a lot next year. Desmond Bland, another guy on the offensive line that I think could make an immediate impact. I mean, we have the need for it.
We definitely have the need for it.
And he's a big dude. Desmond Bland, I think, is going to make an immediate impact on us as well. Garrett Nelson, man, if you saw him...
He's a beast. He's a beast in Nebraska State football, but...
Yeah, he's a big kid.
He's a big kid. I mean, if you watched the game and you didn't know who he was, and you heard that...
You found out real fast.
And you heard that they had a Nebraska commit on their team,
yep.
You would have found out in about 3 plays who that was.
Well, yeah, he did throw up the bones real fast, too, on his sack. But Scott did run away with that game. And then you got Messiah Newsome, another guy, that defensive end. Let me tell you, defensive end, he's out of Iowa, by the way. Defensive end is something we've talked about more than once, is we need someone crashing from the side. We need somebody crashing from the defensive end side. And I think someone like Messiah Newsome, even Garrett Nelson, putting them on the defensive end and making an immediate impact, I think we're going to see that. So I think we had success of rushing from the outside, rushing the quarterback. Whether it's a linebacker or a DN, we need someone with that power to get there.
And that's where, it's going to be a battle to see which coaching group ends up with Cam Jurgens, because they want him for DN, they want him for tight end, they want him for center or some type of O-line.
This ain't high school. You ain't going to see him play both sides.
I know, you're not going to play both sides, so we'll see.
Let's see. Yeah, he does have. Yeah, so Garrett Nelson definitely does have a motor.
Yeah, I mean, he plays Class B state football in Nebraska, so I mean.
But hey, it's all right. Garrett Snodgrass out of York,
another Class B out of York.
Potential athlete.
If you watched the state championship last year, which I did because Scott was in it last year as well, they did end up losing to York. He was the quarterback. I think his dad's the coach.
Yep.
He was very good athlete. He was a very good athlete on defense. So, I mean, I don't know what position they're planning on playing him at.
He's an athlete. I think he's got a lot of potential.
Yeah.
Dalton mentions talking about 6'9" lineman, so Bryce Benhart. Benhart's definitely going to play right away. I don't think there's any doubt that kid's going to get in the weight room and he's going to make an impact right away. He'll play.
Because he's signing early.
He's huge, yeah.
I think he's signing early.
Yeah, he probably will. He committed and he's probably going to sign early. The kid is a lot of potential there.
That's the thing. I do like the early signing period because you don't give teams time to come in and snatch some of these guys. I know it kind of works the same. We don't have time to go out and do the same.
Yeah.
But you get the kids you want for sure.
Yep.
And you sign them.
You sign them. Yep, absolutely. We got Quentin Newsome, safety, and Miles Farmer, athlete, both out of Georgia. We're getting some of these Georgia boys. We know we're getting speed. We know we're getting talent.
That's just like Caleb Tanner. He was a Georgia boy that was committed to Georgia.
Yes. And Miles Farmer was a big commit this week. A lot of people, I think it was over the weekend, maybe early last week. But that's a big commit for us. And I think that's going to be exciting. You got Tony Fair, another boy out of Arizona, defensive tackle. You can see him make an immediate impact as well. I think he's going to find some early playing time on the defensive side of the ball, right next to the Davis boys.
Yeah.
Ethan Piper, another local guy out of Norfolk, Nebraska, defensive tackle. Maybe not an immediate impact.
Yeah, I think he's a pretty big boy too.
Yeah. I just don't know if he'll play right away, but I think he'll get some playing time though.
Well, and the good thing about these Nebraska kids that commit is that they've dreamed about playing for Nebraska. I mean, I would certainly hope. I think that most kids, if they commit to Nebraska, they've dreamed about playing for Nebraska their whole lives. Or since they started playing football, or since they started watching football, whatever else. So even if they don't necessarily earn a spot on the team, they are busting their butts every day.
Yep.
They're pushing the guys in front of them. Maybe they do. Maybe they do earn time.
Maybe.
I mean, you see some of these guys like Gifford and Foster that do end up starters.
You come in and work hard.
So you come in and work hard. It helps not only their chances and our team's chances of being better, but you push the guys in front of you so the team is better.
Absolutely.
So,
you got Matthew Anderson, Michael Lynn, and Javin Wright. We know Javin Wright's going to get playing time.
for sure.
So, once again, we have not only the guys that are returning and the guys that are potential starters next year, but we have so many 2019 commits, and we're not even done yet. We have 19, some people say 19th ranked, some people say 22nd.
It depends on which side you look at.
We're in the top 25 on the rankings. We are potentially going to get guys like Drew Mathis out of JUCO committing as well. He's got a couple more visits. If you listen to the interview, he's got a couple more visits coming up. He went to TCU this last week against Oklahoma State.
Did they win?
I think Oak State won that game.
Good.
If I remember
Sorry.
correct. Yeah, good. But I actually know someone that works for the down in Fort Worth for the Star down there, and he was covering that game, and so him and I connected talking about Drew Mathis. Anyways, Drew Mathis is a big guy, linebacker who can make an immediate impact as well at JUCO level. Can really come in and make it.
He's somebody that I really hope, and not just because we talked to him. It was cool talking to him, but I really hope he commits.
Yep. Dalton. So I don't know who this booster is and who said it would top 50 commit, but if we got someone that flips to Nebraska, that'd be big. We've also seen a lot of guys.
How quick?
We've also seen a few decommits lately from teams like Florida State and Georgia that could potentially be guys that we go after. TCU did one. Okay. Yeah, I didn't watch that game.
Damn, that sucks.
But yeah, I think we've seen a lot of guys decommit and some guys leave programs.
That is true. And that is something that they're talking about big time, is that transfers.
Mm-hmm.
We're going after transfers.
Yes.
And whether that's JUCO transfers or guys transfer from teams or grad transfers, whatever the case might be, they're going after it hard, and I like it.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? I don't know what I was going to say. Okay. Well, whatever. It'll come to me.
But yeah, I mean, this is. I'm getting warm, Dalton. Okay, so you might just have to tell us. But either way, I think you look at next year, not only our schedule, but you look at the guys that made an impact this year, whether they played full time or not, that are going to be playing next year. Some of them full time. I get so excited, and I get excited anyways, even after we lose a game, just knowing what we can do. I think next year, I'm really looking forward to seeing more so what our defense can do. We've seen what our offense can do. We know what our defense, the guys coming into play, we know what they can do because we saw sparks of it this year. Guys like Caleb Tanner and Cam Taylor. Very hard to say back-to-back, by the way. And I know I've been obsessed with those guys this year, but I see so much potential in those guys and these other linebackers like Doman. We saw so much good things from him this year. And then you get guys like a Drew Mathis coming in potentially and committing to Nebraska. I get excited because I know we can come, and I know we can get to that 90s defense to where we were dominant. We were mean.
Yeah.
I want to be a mean defense. That's why I didn't mind the trash talking the other day against Iowa. We want to be mean. You don't win championships without being a little mean.
Right.
You gotta have an edge to you.
I know what I was gonna say. We were talking about transfers and different things and decommits. I know I said it before, but with Colorado losing their coach, maybe we can go in there and snag a kid or two from the Colorado area that may have been or was considering Colorado.
Absolutely. And McKenna mentioned earlier she really hates Colorado and really hates that we lost them this year. We're going to beat them next year. I have no doubt. New coach, they are going to lose some guys. But overall, we're a better team than they are, I think, even though it may not have shown in that game we played them. But
yeah,
that's our first game of the year.
I think it did show in that game we played them. I thought we were better than them.
Yeah, and I think we're going to just destroy them next year in Colorado. So,
yeah.
Anyways, I like I said, super excited for next year. 2 average guys isn't going anywhere this year. We're going to stay on the committee commitments. You don't want to count your chickens before they hatch. Okay, so you're going to, let's see. You're going to keep it on the down low. All right. So is defense more than just sustaining the score? Good record numbers breaking in games.
It's a good point.
Okay, so I don't want to be on the era of offense like the Oklahoma, like the Big 12.
Yeah,
I don't like it.
They were talking. I was listening to something today, and it was here's numbers of this is what it was. They said snaps in a season were like way up that we either gave up, both.
Yeah.
More than when we were in the Big 12.
Yeah.
And there was, there's more plays that you'd think. And so said, maybe football is kind of just going that direction. And I know they've made rule changes so that guys don't get injured.
Yep.
And you have this more safety of the players. It is a little bit more offensive oriented today.
Yep.
But you still see these SEC teams that have dominant defenses.
Dominant.
Well, like two.
Yeah.
But you see a Michigan that has the best defense in the country.
Yep.
And yeah, they gave up 62 points this week. Everybody bends and breaks here and there. But I would like to get back to a defense like 2009 or whatever it was. We had a terrible offense.
Yeah.
But
And I think we can. I think that comes with talent. It comes with depth. It comes with talent. It comes with the weight room, the strength and conditioning. We all know, we heard from multiple people, including guys that had inside looks into Nebraska last year, the last 3 years, is the guys are not forced to go to the weight room. It was, hey, if you decide to show up to the weight room and do your strength conditioning, fantastic. They didn't care. They didn't push them. Scott Frost saying that, I've never thought I'd say this, but we were getting beat strength and conditioning wise against Iowa, and we can change that. To me, that means these guys that are playing now and guys coming in are getting their ass kicked in the weight room.
And how many new players do we have this year? 50?
Yeah.
I mean, how many new players are we going to have next year?
Yeah.
And then if you add the two together, how many 85 players?
So you should look at guys that are going to cut it, guys that aren't.
In a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah. So they're trying
rebuild.
They're trying to build the depth. They're trying to build the talent.
And that's what she said here. Needs depth. I totally agree.
Yeah,
get guys in. Maybe you redshirt them. Okay, that's fine. They put on some weight. You get them faster.
Yeah, so I think that's going to be a big thing to focus on in the offseason is these guys coming in and the guys that are currently there. How do we get their strength and conditioning up? They're bought in now.
Yeah.
If they're still here, they're bought in and they're going to play and they're going to want to play.
And I hope there are kids because I think, especially with the offense that they want to run, it's flashy and it's fun and it's attractive to recruits, I would think.
Yeah.
And, I mean, shoot, we got Adrian Martinez. And they were here for, how many weeks?
Yep.
So, I think that will be an attraction. Now, the big thing is, kids nowadays, they want to play right away. We're going to have to try to get some kids to buy into, hey, take a step back for a year. Learn.
Or play 4 games.
Yeah, and you can still play 4 games. That's why I do like that rule. Hey, you know what? We're not sure you're there yet. Here, okay, we'll put you out there and see if we can give you a chance.
Yep.
Okay, you're not there yet? All right, here's a plan for the rest of the season.
Yep.
And then you got 4 years.
Commit to it. Yep.
You commit to that, and you're going to be successful. Or they get in right away, and then it's, hey, you got what it takes.
Yeah.
Here you go.
Yeah, and that's going to be really hard to get in the mindset of a player to to sit a year. It
Well,
really is, whether they play 4 games or not. But that is something that the coaches all across the country have to work on. It's not just Nebraska, of course. So you're going to see a lot more transfers throughout the years as things progress in college football. You're going to see a lot of guys decommitting because they can go somewhere else and play right away. That's a D1 school. You're going to see a lot of that happening as time goes on. Like I said, I mean, I can't wait for next year just because I see so many things happening in the next 2-3 weeks. We're going to get more commits. We're going to get more and more guys. And I believe we could have a top 20 recruiting class. Like I said, if we're already ranked somewhere at 19 to 22, imagine if we get guys like Drew Mathis and some of these other guys that are transferring from schools. We still have a lot of guys on the block. That's a big deal for Nebraska. And if we get a top 20 class, look for us to be in the top 25 preseason next year. I'm saying that. I think it could happen. Yeah,
and you know what? If not, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then we'll win the first however many games.
Yeah.
12 games.
And McKenna gave me crap for talking about rankings, but we know what the rankings do. We know if you're ranked at the beginning of the season and you win games, it's only going to help. If you're not ranked and you win games, it might not help you. So if you want to get to that next level, it can definitely help to be ranked early. But we have to do work. We gotta win. If we go 10-2 next year, obviously huge improvement. When we go 7-5, it's an improvement. We have to see improvement year to year. And I think another full year of strength and conditioning with the guys that are there now is going to drastically help what we do next season in 2019.
That's true, too.
So, I don't know. That's what I got to say today. I'm really excited. Working more with Duval another year. I mean, I think these guys are going to kill it. They're nothing but good things. I mean, Duval is just
as much as we love certain players that are seniors now, are moving on.
Yep.
They've been here for 4 or more years, and they've gotten into some bad habits.
Yep.
And so it's really hard to change that, even in one season.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when, the first couple games maybe don't go your way.
Yeah.
That's really hard. So.
Yep. Last thing I'll say before we end the show here, if you guys are in the Lincoln area, in Omaha or in Lincoln, you have some time to go down on Saturday from 12 to 2, Capital City Sports Car is going to give them a shout out here. They're going to have the seniors from Nebraska Huskers. They're going to be signing autographs at Capital City Sports Car in Lincoln. So if you get a chance to go down there, you can also message them and you can get some stuff signed as well. You can buy something and they'll ship it to you. Or you can get it to them early and they can get it signed and ship it to you, whatever. But they got some pretty cool. I mean, they're gonna have Morgan, they're gonna have a Zigbo, they're gonna have Mick, they're gonna have all the seniors. Their training is gonna be there. So if you want an autograph, $10 per autograph. So definitely check them out if you can. They do a lot of really cool things, a lot of cool signings throughout the year as well. So
couple last points here. McKenna says talk about bad habits. Look at Florida State. Yeah, because they don't have a Frost that's coaching them right now.
No,
that's right in the ship.
He's a different coach. Yeah.
And it was getting worse.
Yes.
It's only getting worse. So be thankful that we have Frost.
Yeah. And Dalton mentioned, thanks for doing what we did this season, moving over to Cornhusker Nation. We're gonna stay around, guys. We're not going anywhere. We're gonna be here throughout the off season as well. We'll talk more about commits. We're working on getting more interviews scheduled, not only with commits, but also trying to get with the coaches. We're trying to do a lot of things, kind of spice up what we do, get more attention, and definitely give us a share. If you're out on Twitter, once again, at 2AverageGuys, definitely follow us on Twitter, follow the podcast, share it with friends and family that are Husker fans. I think it is a lot of fun for us.
Yeah,
we don't get paid for this. This is something we do just to hang out, drink a couple beers, and have fun. And I think it's going to continue, and we're only going to build on this and get better. We hit 200 followers on Twitter today, so high five on that. I know it's me doing all the work, but and McKenna talks a lot of trash on you on.
I know. I need to get on the Twitter game. Sorry, McKenna.
Anyways, it's a lot of fun, and we enjoy what we do, and we're going to continue doing it until we're old and gray and can't do it no more.
I mean, you still want to do? I mean, are we still going to post them here for bowl?
Oh yeah.
And conference championship next weekend.
Yep.
I mean, shows might not be as long.
Yeah, I think
if there's recruits that commit, we might talk about them for a while.
Yep.
Or if we talk to somebody, maybe.
We'll keep the podcast going. We'll keep, if it's not a live show, podcast, we'll keep going. So definitely follow that.
Yeah, we can just do that too. That's fine.
Predictions for next week. So we got some games. McKenna asked about predictions. We got Northwestern Yeah, Dalton will join us next year. We got some games next year for the championship. We got Texas, Oklahoma. Oklahoma's trying to avenge that one loss and keep their playoff hopes alive over Ohio State, who plays Northwestern in the Big Ten championship. I'm gonna say now, look for an upset.
I'm
I'm saying now, look for an upset. I think Northwestern, they're a gritty team, and they might find a way to beat Ohio State. They're not going to find themselves in a playoff, but they will definitely eliminate Ohio State.
They're an interesting team because, their only loss in conference play was to Michigan, and they probably should have won that game.
Yep.
They're down by 10 points against us in the final 3 minutes, come back and win the game. They go and win at Kinnick.
Which I will say against us, they had the intentional grounding. One of the two that wasn't called that should have been, but anyways, yes, they won.
So I still see Ohio State winning this game and probably trying to run up the score.
I'm going to say Northwestern. We're going to make a bet. We're going to make a bet right now. We're making a bet. I know that you don't want Ohio State to win.
I don't.
And neither do I. But I'm going to make a bet because I think Northwestern, Pat Fitzgerald, this is the first time they've been in the Big Ten championship. He's been in the Big Ten championship. He's psyched. He's ready to go. They are going to come after Ohio State. They're going to bring the pressure. We know Dwayne Haskins is good. We know he is. But we also know he cannot scramble. We know he cannot move out of the pocket.
He did run a few times against Michigan, and it was like...
Yeah, but he ain't fast. You know they're going to bring the pressure. You know their defensive backs are going to play tight on the receivers because their receivers really aren't that great. But when they get in the open field, they're fast. And their defensive backs, Michigan did not throw on the defensive backs enough.
Yeah.
They didn't. They don't have the best defensive backs on their defense. Their defense is down this year, but Michigan didn't exploit that. Big mistake by them. Northwestern, I think Clayton Thorson is going to have the best game of his career. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm saying this. I'm hopeful. I'm very hopeful that Ohio State loses that game. I don't care if it means the Big Ten doesn't represent.
The Big Ten probably doesn't represent. Big Ten prize out anyway. Thanks, Michigan.
Yes. Anyways, loser goes to Iowa. I mean, really, it's a 5-minute drive for me. I don't want to cross straight lines anytime. But I ain't going to Iowa. If I go to Iowa, I'll wear a Husker shirt and say Iowa sucks. How about that in front of Kinnick?
Michaela's grandparents live there, so I go there every now and again.
There you go. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with Northwestern in that one. And I don't know. What do you want to make a bet on? What do you want to bet? I mean, you've been providing the beer.
I know, so we could just do beer, I guess.
Okay, yeah. If you win, if Ohio State wins, I'll go ahead and get you a 30-pack of Busch Light. Okay. If Northwestern wins, you know what kind of beer I like.
I'll get you some nice IPAs.
Yeah, he's gonna give me He's gonna give me some IPAs. So a quality 12-pack of IPAs is what costs a 30-pack of Busch Light. So we'll call it good.
That's fine.
So that's our bet. Shake on. All right, we're good. All right, Texas, Oklahoma. Who do you got?
So I've kind of gone back and forth on this one, but with just how many points Oklahoma gives up, I see Texas beating them.
I think Oklahoma's offense is better.
It is.
Texas defense is better than Oklahoma's.
And I guess the question is, Sam Ehlinger, he played really well in that game. I don't know, is he 100%?
He's been up and down. You just don't know what you're going to get from him.
He's been injured, I think, and he hasn't played as well, so...
Yeah, I mean, you've seen Boucheli come in a couple times.
It's tough, too, because when you're given an opportunity where Michigan loses, there's a spot for a playoff. Now, you might ramp it up a little bit. Yep. So, I mean, and they probably think, hey, if we win this game, we're in over Ohio State. Yeah. Even if Ohio State blows Northwestern.
I'd agree with that. Yes.
So would I. Even if Ohio State runs the score up on Northwestern. Yeah. So that's why I've kind of been going back and forth. Just so we get something different, I'll take Texas.
I got OU. I think Texas defense is better, but I think OU's offense is going to be good enough to put up points. Texas will not put up that many points. Yeah. I just don't think they will.
Difference,
I don't think they will. OU scores, they score fast.
Just to go against you, I'll take that.
Georgia, Bama.
Alabama.
I got Bama. I think Georgia, I think it's going to be close. Closer than what a lot of people might think. Auburn kept it close, so 17-14 and a half. They kept it close through most of the game, and then third quarter started midway through the third quarter, downhill. Which Gus Malzahn, look for him to be getting the boot from Auburn. But I do think that game could be interesting.
All right, I'll say something after. Go to the next one.
And Pitt and Clemson, I only put that on there
because it's a conference championship.
It's a conference championship game, but I do think Pitt could give them some trouble. I don't think they're going to win, though.
Pitt played Notre Dame tough. They played Syracuse, maybe tough when Syracuse was on a run, but they lost 24-3 to Miami this last week.
Yeah.
They're 7-5. Clemson's gonna roll them up.
Yeah. I don't see too many upsets coming unless Northwestern beats Ohio
The
State.
only other Power 5 doesn't mean anything. So
Yeah.
which is Friday night, Washington, Utah.
Yeah, and Notre Dame won. They're undefeated. You know they're in. That's not going to change. So Notre Dame's going to be probably the third spot. So they're probably
we were
tonight
walking
or
through it
tomorrow.
today, and if we got to this point now that we're talking about potential college football playoff, if Georgia does beat Alabama, both of those teams are going to be in, I would think. Because when the rankings come out tomorrow, Georgia is going to be at number 4.
Yep.
If they beat Alabama, they're not going to drop Alabama that far.
I don't know. I go back and forth on it just because we saw this last year and we saw what happened. I don't know how ratings were during that championship game. I know I didn't watch a lick of it because I was pissed.
I remember.
I was mad because 2 SEC teams. I wasn't having it. I disagree with it. If Alabama loses that game and OU beats Texas, OU should make it in over Bama. But it's not going to happen. Alabama's going to win. It's just not going to happen.
If that does happen, then how are the rankings? Because what would happen if it was early on when the playoff rankings come out, is if a number 4 beat a number 1 and they were SEC, they would flip-flop them.
Yep.
Or 1 and 3 or something like that.
They set it up so they play each other again.
They're not going to do that. They're not going to have, if Georgia beats Alabama, they're not going to have them play again. They're going to have Georgia 1.
You think Georgia would jump Clemson and Notre Dame? Come on, man.
Or they would have Georgia 2 or 3, wouldn't matter, and Bama 4. So that they could set up a rematch, just like freaking last year.
Yeah. But I think Bama's going to win.
I think Bama's going to win. It's not going to matter.
Notre Dame's going to be 3 this week. OU, Ohio State, they're going to get in. Whoever, if OU loses, they're out. If Ohio State loses, they're out. If they both win, I think OU is in.
I guess that's a scenario I hadn't thought of. What if Alabama beats Georgia and Ohio State and Oklahoma both lose?
Georgia's in.
Bullshit.
Who else would they put in? UCF. That's your next option.
But Milton got hurt. They're not gonna put them that high.
But that would be your next option, though.
I don't know.
I mean, who else would you put in?
I'm with you.
A 2-loss Michigan that lost to Ohio State.
Oh, gosh, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't see that
that's worthy of
happening.
bringing up, but I don't see both of them losing.
I don't see both of them losing either.
So either way, I think the final rankings. I think tonight what you're going to see is Georgia at 4, Notre Dame at 3, Clemson at 2, Bama at 1.
Oh, for sure. And Oklahoma will be at 5, and Ohio State will be at 6.
Yes, and I don't. Well, maybe those could be flip flopped. I think it should be the way you said it, but I think it could be flip flopped. Ohio State should not jump OU.
If it's flip flopped, and Ohio State wins the Big Ten,
yeah,
and Bama loses, then they're in.
maybe. Yeah, I think the committee's stupid anyways. But all right, I think that's enough for tonight. I think yeah, that was a fun show. I appreciate you guys. I do apologize. The podcast got cut off due to my wife calling. Even though I told her that we're going to be doing a show. Anyways.
Well, shoot, my wife let the dog out.
Yeah,
so
shit happens. Anyways, Harbaugh's tenure at Michigan. McKenny, always bring in one more question. I think he's fine. He's not going anywhere.
I mean, he needs to figure out how to beat Ohio State because all
He
the
really
talk
does.
was, hey, this is the year to beat them. They're not playing very well right now. And that's what's funny. They're talking about today. They're like, yeah, Ohio State, they had this big win, and, they've been playing pretty well. And I'm like, no, they have not.
Previous week, they took Maryland to overtime.
They should have lost to Maryland.
Overtime and should have lost.
We should have beat them, or could have beat them.
Yep.
Minnesota, Indiana.
That was their first game where they looked like the Ohio State you would expect.
Yeah.
The first game all year. So, and
I
that's the
think
fight against the committee is when you have one game where you've played a complete game, you really want to put them in the show when you got OU who's been doing it all year. Their loss to Texas was a hell of a game.
Are you going to put them in there to play Alabama and lose 38-0?
Because I think OU Alabama could be a fun game.
Because Oklahoma's going to score.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be fun.
Yes.
It sucks. The Big Ten will be out again, and that's like the 3rd year in a row.
But guess what? Sorry, Michigan, you effed up.
Yeah.
And Ohio State, you
And
effed up
honestly,
last year.
before Ohio State, I thought Michigan, Alabama could have been all right.
I think it could have been. Yeah, we talked about that.
So,
anyways, that's all we got for the show today, guys.
Dalton did throw that in there. I did see that.
Mac Brown,
they were
North
talking
Carolina,
about that
yeah.
today. But
Mac Brown, North Carolina. Les Miles to Kansas, man. A lot of
they
stuff
just trying to
going
sell
along.
tickets or what?
I don't know. And then you got what's his bucket?
Kingsbury got the
Kingsbury
axe.
out.
USC held on to their coach. I was surprised.
I think it's a smart move though. That's a $15 million buyout.
Yeah.
They paid freaking what's his name at UNC $12 million.
He won a Rose Bowl. He won a conference championship.
Helton's fine. He's not a bad coach. They're young.
And they played a pretty decent game.
And I think that's what saved him.
So.
That's what saved him.
All right, yeah,
anyways, we will be back. We will be back.
We'll see you guys next
Pootie,
week.
one last thing. McKenna says Notre Dame's overrated. So. Anyways, that's all we got for today. I'm Matt.
Jimmy.
We're Two Average Guys. Thanks for joining in today. Sorry about the podcast.
We'll see you next week.
Love you guys. Take care.